Welcome to You Make the Difference. I'm Wanda Walker, and today I have as my guest Jeff Lucan. Jeff is the former mayor of LaGrange, and now he is at LaGrange College, and we're so glad to have you, Jeff.
Well, thank you, Wanda. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, and the first question I want to ask you is, are you missing being the mayor?
You know what? Everyone always brings that up, or they ask Wanda, are you glad not to have the pressure and stress? But really, in LaGrange, there was no pressure and stress. It was really an enjoyable job. You know, everybody every once in a while would give you a little grief, but I really enjoyed it. So I am missing being involved with so many different groups and committees, like all the work that you've always done. But no, I'm just so happy to be at LaGrange College. It's just an incredible place.
Okay, now, tell me, how did that happen that you went to LaGrange College?
Wanda wants to get us off the subject that I told her we were going to talk about 5 minutes earlier when we were off camera. Wanda, I just am so anxious for the community to know what you're involved with and how many things you do as a volunteer throughout the community. When I was mayor, there wasn't a single group that I think Wanda wasn't a part of. She was constantly a force of leadership and volunteerism and kindness to everyone in need throughout the community. And I just want your viewers have probably never heard you say what you do, but I want to brag on Wanda Walker for just a moment. Can you tell everybody what you're involved with? I know it embarrasses you, but I would just love for everybody to know a little bit of what you're involved with.
Okay. Well, I formed an organization called Troop Transformation, and Troop Transformation provides Christian influence and support to government, business, education, family, culture, which is arts and entertainment, media, and the church. And what we want to do is work with leaders in the community and come around them and support their vision and help them reach their goals. And you were very instrumental in us being able to do that. And every time we came to you, you were so very helpful. I remember the first time that I came to you was when we were doing the torch run in 2000. And I thought that I had reserved the square. But then I realized that I had talked to somebody that didn't have the authority to reserve the square. And so I was in a panic because I never had done anything like that. And reserving the square was a big deal to me. And so I came to Lucan Chevrolet and I said, I am doing an event and I really have sent out all the information and everything, and now I realize I don't even have the square reserved and the event's on the square. And so you just picked up the phone and made a phone call for me and just took all the anxiety out of that, and I was so very appreciative.
Well, I tell you what, it's rare that I ever run into a person like Wanda. You have the talent to draw people to a cause, to a calling that makes everybody want to join in. And you have some community leaders that say, I'm going to be the leader, everybody listen to me. Wanda instead involves everybody, and you almost drift to the back as people have now assumed your cause and your product, and they jump in with such energy. I'm just always impressed to watch you as you build consensus and in a single direction for everybody. You're very good at that.
Well, thank you. And you know, what we've done is try to hear the Lord, hear what God is saying for our community, and then invite people to join into that. So it's been a real adventure. And we've done some things in government. We've done some things with Chief Deckmar.
Like what?
Like what? Chief Deckmar.
Can y'all see that I'm interviewing Wanda here today?
And doing very well.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chief Deckmar in 2010 attended a presentation that we had, and you did too, of an Appalachian Dawn, which was the story of a town in Manchester, Kentucky that had experienced transformation. They had an Oxycontin problem, and it was so bad that they said that people came into their town to buy drugs in greater numbers than they came through the drive-through restaurants. And so they had attracted the federal government's attention, and eventually there was a raid. But their transformation came from the faith community joining with the police department to try and do something about the drug situation. And one of the things that they did was that the police station invited the faith community to come in and be in the lobby of the police department, and they went out and did drug raids, and they would bring the drug dealers and drug users into the police station, and there the church people would minister to them. So after we had seen that video, the next day it was a what's next meeting. What are we going to do in our community? You know, we didn't have as big a problem with drugs as this little community, but we did have some problems.
And we had other needs also.
And other needs. And so we got together and talked, and during that meeting, Chief Detmar said that he had always wanted to work with the faith community. And it was his heart to work with us. And so we wanted people to know that, and set up a meeting for Chief Detmar to be able to share what his goals were, that he wanted to work with the faith community. Also, how could we help him? And he outlined for us 4 things. He wanted us to work with the mentally ill, in homelessness, reentry, and youth intervention. So to date, we are still working with Chief Detmar, and we have done projects, I guess, or initiatives in each one of those areas.
Like the mental health court came out of those efforts.
Yes.
Our homeless initiative came out of those efforts.
Yes. Yeah. And we also, we had Candy Gibson was in the audience that night, and Candy had a heart for reentry, which was one of his goals, to work with reentry. And so she started an organization called Crossover Ministries, which works with people who are about to come out of jail and prison to help change their thinking, so that their thinking is good when they come out, and that they can function in society again. And she works with a transition center to do that. So what I see True Transformation doing is that it opens up ministry for people. I know lots of times people are in church, and they've been in church a long time. They have, many of them have probably wanted to be in some kind of ministry or to do something. And now I feel like it's time that we not only minister inside the church, but we minister outside the church. And I think that True Transformation gives people an opportunity to see what the ministries are out there, and to look on things as ministries that maybe we haven't looked at as ministries before. Like with volunteer opportunities, sometimes we just think people are volunteering, but I see those as opportunities for ministry. And so that's why we're constantly encouraging people to volunteer.
Sure. Well, that's a powerful force to bring to the table. That's just wonderful, something that's lacking in some of our committees and other organizations.
Yes, because I feel like, Christian people they have so much to offer, and even though sometimes they don't realize they do. And if they go out into the community, just their presence is going to impact and also improve whatever they're involved in, just because of who they are.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I'm just so happy everybody gets to know a little bit about your background and what you're doing besides this TV show.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Well, absolutely. I'm always interested about what you're doing, and I'm sorry I'm not as involved as I used to be, but I plan to get back into it with you.
And I'm looking forward to that.
Well, thanks.
I really am.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And so when you get ready, you just come to a True Transformation meeting and just get plugged in. And
I will.
Everybody's invited to do that. And we meet every other month on the second Monday. It's the odd months at 5:30 at Abbott and Associates building on Main Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well,
Yeah.
good. I'll do that.
Okay, good.
I won't make a promise. I'll make sure I'm going to be there.
Great.
Okay. Good.
All right.
What you asked a little bit about the mayorship.
Yes.
I started to tell you a cute story a little while ago. I was in Walmart a month ago, and I have been mayor now for 3 months at least. And some gentleman stopped me at Walmart and said, "Are you still the mayor?" And I laughed and I said, "No." He said, "Are you still taking complaints?" And I looked and I said, what? So without even me answering, he immediately launched into a pothole that was in front of his driveway that he needed me to take care of. I actually took his name and his address to pass it on to
Yes.
whoever that would be.
And you know they have a website now that you can go on and report potholes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I did that and it worked.
Good.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
it is.
Yeah, it helps. More and more people are going online. It helps to take some of the pressure off the phones. And most of the time, people are frustrated just because they don't really know who to call or where to go.
Yes.
And so that's a big help.
It is. Okay, now tell me about your new job. Tell me what you're doing at the college. What were your first impressions when you went up to the college and began your work?
God, that's a great question. Wanda, I've been mayor for 16 years. I've lived in the community since 65, so almost 50 years now. And I thought I knew all about LaGrange College. I really didn't have a clue. The campus is so beautiful. When you wander up there, the setting with the beautiful old trees and the old historic buildings, the azaleas, the landscape, it's just a stunning atmosphere with all the students and the professors everywhere. And LaGrange College actually started just 3 years after the city was founded. LaGrange College was founded in 1831, which makes it the oldest private college in the entire state.
Yes.
And LaGrange College this year just got an award from U.S. News and World Report. They were actually named one of the top 10 colleges and also named one of the top 10 values in colleges. But it's not a big surprise that LaGrange College would get this award because it's the 10th year in a row we've been named by U.S. News and World Report to those categories.
Wow.
So for the city of LaGrange to have this incredible resource in the middle of our community and it be such a high academic institution is really just incredible that I was not aware of all the huge benefits that LaGrange College brings to this entire region. But probably the best part about the college are the professors and the administration. They bring such a commitment to the young people's academic progress, to their spiritual foundation and spiritual growth. Every one of the professors and the administration I've met with are so committed. Every question, every problem and challenge that comes before them, they first take it from a direction of what's best for the students. And then all of a sudden the answers fall into place much more easily.
Yes.
And I'm just bowled over by the people. I'm just so excited. I was telling Tom Hall, our city manager, and Lou Deckmar, one day I was eating lunch with them and they were asking about LaGrange College. And I said, you know, these are such wonderful people that I've met that if I hang around with them long enough, I hope to become a better person. And both of them looked at me and they said, as opposed to hanging around with us? I said, well, yeah, exactly. But it is such a cool place. Dan McAlexander, the president, has really just transformed the college. We've gone through some difficult times, the entire country has. When the economy sinks, businesses, small business, large, educational institutions, everybody has to watch the budget.
Yes.
Much closer. And Dan is such a strong, principled person on academic rigor. He wants to make sure that LaGrange College is one of the finest private institutions. At the same time, he's got a great business sense about him. He understands that the college also has to have the revenues and expenses in place. He's just a great leader. The professors, the administration all follow him because he's able to articulate the college's mission and its culture well enough that everybody wants to be a part of his team to accomplish, again, that mission of giving the best education for our students and the best value to the students. It really is just a great resource for the community. I used to talk to the council and to groups I would talk to that if I could help brand the city of LaGrange, one of the most important and most attractive brands that a town would have would be that the town would be a college town. And if you could ever get that town to be a private college town, one with a college that has a spiritual foundation,
Yes.
young people everywhere brings energy, vitality. The professors and administration bring an academic factor to the community, an intellect. They bring leadership. They bring experience that they can help with different projects like you're involved in.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you recognize that having an institution like LaGrange College here in LaGrange is a huge resource. Now, the college knows that they have an important role in the community and the city. I'm not sure that our community and the city recognize the great resource that the college brings to the table.
Yes.
And we need to more. That type of branding, that type of image for a community, and that type of great benefit, resources to bring to our entire community is just huge. And I recognize that now that I'm part of LaGrange College.
Yes. And with the servant scholars.
Great point.
Yes. I mean, it seems like in recent years, the college has really been moving out into the community to make a difference. And the servant scholars have been involved in circles of Troup County, and I've gotten to know some of them, and they are outstanding people. And I really like what you said about if a Christian college is in the community, then it's going to impact that community in a very positive way. And we're seeing that also in West Point with Point University.
Yes.
When Point University is there, all of those students who are also involved in community work, when they come out into the community, it's awesome. I've seen some reports about how they've gone into like the housing authority and done things there, and so it's just a great resource when we have all those college students in our town to plug them in. And I do think that more and more the community will see the value of LaGrange College as that happens.
You're exactly right. And we have wonderful state schools, but when you think about it, not only does a state school not encourage a deep spiritual awareness, they're not allowed to, because they're government funded. They're hampered, they're almost handcuffed in the type of principles and direction that they can suggest to the students, encourage. Now, going to the church and being part of a religious community is not a requirement at LaGrange College, but it's wonderful that that aspect is there and is encouraged.
Yes.
It just makes for a more well-rounded, better student, I think.
Yes. And in reading some of the history of LaGrange College, when it was first founded, it was to educate people and send them into the mission field so that we would impact the world with the gospel. And so with LaGrange College being focused on a mission to bring Christianity or faith into the community and to impact the community, that's wonderful. And I noticed over the years, after we'd started Troup Transformation, that they started talking about transforming. And so we thought, yay! I mean, it's in the atmosphere.
Sure.
It's in the atmosphere here. So we're delighted with that.
It really is just a very special place. I was talking to somebody the other day, and a private college normally will be a little bit higher than a state school.
Yes.
But when you take a look at what LaGrange College does, a very close one-on-one relationship with a student. We have a student-teacher ratio of 11 students to every teacher, which is incredibly small classes.
Wow.
So if you look at the one-on-one relationship, the fact that I know Wanda Walker and I can see when you're falling behind or if you're not going to classes, or I want to encourage you after class and say what's going on and how can I help you, all of a sudden you recognize that not only is that a little bit of extra tuition that you may pay for a private college worth it, but my student, my child, my son or daughter may actually get through a school in 4 years as opposed to 5 and 6 and 7 years that seems to be the norm today in a lot of state schools. That one-on-one attention brings a lot to the table of growth in the student.
Yes.
But also you're now saving money because you're not paying for 5 years or 6 years. You're paying for 4 years.
Yes.
If you've got the attention of the student, you're helping him grow in his studies.
Yes. Now, your title is Director
of Graduate and Evening College Studies.
Okay.
And what that has to do with, I've got a little bit of responsibility in several areas. LaGrange College has a great educational degree, both in the undergraduate and graduate school. We have 3 graduate degrees in education, and we have put out some of the most amazing teachers throughout the whole region. People come from Alabama to go to LaGrange College. I'm talking about just besides their jobs that they're working at ordinarily. But they come from a large area around the entire region to go to LaGrange College's educational program. We've got a lot of people, students teachers from Noonan, from Opelika, from Columbus that will come up to our classes at night, or LaGrange College actually has other classes outside of our campus, like in Noonan, that will put on these degree programs for teachers to get a master's degree, to get a specialist degree, so that they continue with their education. They're in the classroom teaching and earning a living, and yet they're getting a higher degree that will help them in a bump in pay, which is not what any of our teachers actually go for, but it always helps to make an extra $6,000 to $8,000 a year because I now have a higher degree from LaGrange College. So I'm a little bit involved in helping with admissions and helping get the message out about what LaGrange College does best. While I'm bragging about LaGrange College, they have an excellent nursing program.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, in the last 5 years, 4 out of 5 years, they've had 100% of our graduates become board certified, which is just incredible, because it's one thing to go through nursing school, it's another thing to overcome that hill of now becoming board certified. But if you're going to LaGrange College, you have all the skills and tools to become board certified and move on with your career. So I'm involved in the graduate studies, some in other areas, marketing and a few other areas, but with the evening college, and that's really where I'm putting a lot of my energies. The evening college, Wanda, is a school at night for those family members that have got a lot of activities going on in the daytime. And you can be 18 years old and come to evening college. Maybe you got out of high school and you didn't go right to college. Now you've got a job somewhere. Well, I'd still like to have a bachelor's degree so I can become more valuable in my corporation, or maybe even change and look for another career. But how am I going to get that 4-year degree when I'm working at my job and I can't afford to leave my job? LaGrange Evening College is specifically made for you. Or you're a mother and taking care of the children in the daytime, and you really don't have a lot of help. Or you have other responsibilities during the daytime, but you want to finish that degree. Well, if you haven't had a single hour of college, or if you've picked up some hours at West Georgia Technical College, a great institution,
Yes.
or other institutions in our area, or even LaGrange College earlier, you can come back and finish that degree at LaGrange College. And so we've got night classes set up that you can come 1 night a week or 4 nights a week, just depending on how accelerated a program you want to go through. And you can finish fairly quickly if you want to come 2 or 3 or 4 nights a week. Or if you don't quite have the time, 1 night a week works. And then we have online courses. That allows me to study and work from home. On the computer, I'm able to study, go through tests, and also chat with my professor and chat with other classmates online.
Yes.
And so it's really encouraged not only to be studying with the reading materials online, but connecting with the teacher and connecting with your peers in the classroom. I'm having trouble with this question. What do you think about this concept? Can we all meet online and talk a little bit to help with our next project together? It's a great concept that allows me to work at home without having to worry about too many classes at night.
Yeah, and if you're in LaGrange and you're having trouble with one of those online classes, you can just ride up there and talk to your professor.
Oh, that's right. You're exactly right. And that's a good point.
Yes.
All of our online classes, none of them are strictly online. They're what we call hybrid.
Okay.
You come in and you meet with a professor. You may have 1 or 2 or 3 classes, then you'll go online, then you'll come back, they'll test you in person, they'll help you in person. So we don't like to just say, go online and take the class. We want to make sure that our strength, the one-on-one human connection with our students, remains with LaGrange College. It makes us so much more unique and special than a lot of these online courses from schools you've never heard of.
Yes. How many people in LaGrange participate in evening classes?
Right now we have 68 students at night.
Yes.
We're growing dramatically. We're up 20% from where we were just a few months ago, and more people are beginning to realize, whether you're working in a corporation, whether you don't live in LaGrange or not, LaGrange College can be a great fit for you. I'm completing an agreement with West Georgia Technical College, which we've had, it's called an articulation agreement, where their students transfer automatically into LaGrange College, and we want to keep all of their Associate of Science degree as an entire block. So they know if they've graduated from West Georgia Technical College with an Associate of Science degree, they automatically come into LaGrange College with 2 years worth of credits fully transferred.
Yes. And that's wonderful. I know when I was going to school, I was one of those that didn't go right away. I had no plans to go to college. And so about 2 years after I'd been out, I was bored. I was working, but I was bored, and there was a lady at my office who was going to go back to school. She was going to go to Southern Union, and she said, why don't you go with me and just take a class or two, see if you like it. If you don't like it, then that's fine. And then if you decide later on that you want to go back, you'll always have that credit. And I did that and finished 2 years there, and I was really delighted that all of the classes that I took at Southern Union transferred to LaGrange College. And I did go through the evening program and completed my degree.
I didn't know that. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
You're an alum. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I am.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, it's been a long time ago. and we were talking about, students who take a long time to do it. It took me a long time to do it. It was about 5.5 years that it took me to finish, but I did finish, and I am a LaGrange College alum.
Bravo.
So I appreciate what you're doing up there on the Hill. And tell me, just in the last few minutes, we have about 2 or 3 more minutes, what are some new initiatives that you are into?
Well, I tell you what we're doing right now, Wanda. We're going into different corporations, and we're helping set up a certificate program for them. They have lots of employees that may want a 4-year degree to come to the evening college, but there are other employees that say, I need more skills in leadership, in management, in communication, and the employers out there are helping us in understanding their needs and their own unique culture within that corporation, their mission for that corporation. And so we're building customized plans. This plan for Saywan may be different than this plan for PowerTech, which may be different than Hanliwa or Kia or Caterpillar or Interface. And so we're building a custom plan according to the specific needs. It's working beautifully. So there'll be people from these corporations that say, I want to start at evening college with a 4-year degree, or I want to finish my college, or I want a certificate, which we hope will then count towards hours for a 4-year degree if you want to come in and finish later.
Yes.
It's working beautifully. We've got a lot of interest out there in the corporate community. That, along with the articulation agreements, kind of refreshing those and building agreements with the Southern Unions, West Georgia Technical College, University of West Georgia, Auburn, Columbus State. All of these are great educational institutions that we're connecting with to take their transfer students to start up at LaGrange College. And we've got so many people that are recognizing the value and how many wonderful principles are brought to the table for the students at LaGrange College. Wanda, we all know that getting a degree helps an awful lot in your career and even helping advance where your family wants to go.
Yes.
How we get that degree, how we find that next step in our career is what's difficult. So we're trying to make sure that everybody understands what LaGrange College brings to the table, especially at the evening college, because this is that opportunity. This is that chance to be able to rediscover your dream that you may have left back behind you 5, 10, 15 years ago.
Yes.
When you got married, you got a family, you started into work. Gosh, I'll never finish that degree. Oh no, you can. This opportunity is right here, and it really can be a life-changing experience for you that we just hope we can reveal the opportunity to everybody.
Yes. Well, I just want to tell you, Jeff, that I appreciate everything that you have done for our city.
Thank you.
And you are a wonderful mayor, mayor of excellence. And now you are excellent at LaGrange College and presenting their message to the community.
Oh, thank you, Wanda.
And I want to just thank everybody for watching. You make the difference. And remember, you really do. So go out there and volunteer.
Got a promise from heaven. It's a year of replevin. Got a promise from heaven. It's all coming back.